Hi everybody. With arrays, we have a new way of being able to access the values inside of them. So in this really quick video, let's take a look at what this looks like. So here I have a variable called myArray, and it has a handful of values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, in the old way, let's say I want to access the first item. The way I would do that would be let first equals myArray bracket 0. Great, we have the first item. If I get the second item, I pass in a value of 1. The reason is that arrays are indexed starting with 0, so the first item is 0, second item is 1, and all of that. Great, that makes a lot of sense. Now, let's say I want to get the last item in our array. And the way you would do that is by declaring a variable. You don't have to. And then the way I would call it is by having the index position have a number, and that number will be the length of the array minus 1. So it'll be myArray.length minus 1. And this is a little bit verbose and a little bit strange, especially if you're trying to get the last value, because we do have to think about for the second last item, I do myArray.length minus 2. It just adds a little bit of unnecessary complexity in some of these cases. And to solve this, there's a new method in town, and that method on arrays is called at. And so in this world, the way to get an item from the array is by, let me just do myArray.at, and they pass in the argument, in which case it'll be 0. Which will be 0 is the first value for 1. So in this case, I'll go back to my variable names again. Let first equals myArray at 0. You get the first item. If I want to get the last item, which is really where the kerfuffle happens in terms of why myArray.length minus 1 isn't really all that great, I don't have to type in anything about the array or reference it one more time. I just use -1 as the value. And so -1 essentially starts at the end of the array and it goes all the way down. So -1 is the last item, -2 is the second last item, and so on. So a very handy way for now being able to access not just the first item in the array, which is sequentially 0 to the ultimately length of the array minus 1, but an easy way to also access the last item in the array, and then going from the last item all the way to the negative of length of the array minus 1, which is pretty convenient in many ways, especially if you don't want to have to reference the array multiple times. So if you have any questions, the best place to ask them is not in the comments in the video below, but post in the forums at forumnetcrypto.com, where I and others would be happy to help you out with your array questions or anything web development related. Lastly, if you like this video, or if you didn't like this video, that's all cool. Tell your friends and enemies all about it. Hit subscribe to be notified of new videos that will be coming up regularly. Follow me at Krupa on Twitter to get more updates on web development topics or just things I find interesting. Lastly, I read a lot of books, and there's a book called Arrays from Nuke Ninja, which talks about not just this technique, but a whole lot of techniques about arrays in general, from very basic to more advanced concepts, so that way you can use probably one of the more interesting and more important objects in the JavaScript world really, really effectively. And with that, I will see you all next time.